Are we rolling? Like, I hope you guys got your notes.
Stop the self-sabotage.
I'm so glad we're on the same page on that. Be able to have a funeral for the person that you were.
Get to know yourself.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I didn't know I was gonna get emotional. You guys are in for such a treat today. You have no idea. So we're here with none other than Miss Brandi Leifso, and we are going to be your big sisters today. We're gonna answer any and all questions that you guys have sent me. So many questions on my Instagram, and I'm so grateful to you guys. I've also had a lot of people DM me questions, and we are gonna try to get as deep and as uncomfortable as we can, because we are gonna talk about what nobody likes to talk about, but the things that should be talked about. And we're so excited because Brandi is going to be hosting. You want to tell them?
Yeah. So we are going to be hosting a retreat in Mexico, an all-inclusive retreat. So that means like beach time, food time, all the best food. Bikinis. But the best part about it is that we're there having a good time, but we are also moving into the new chapter of our lives together. And so this retreat is called the Next Chapter Retreat.
Befitting.
It's going to be such an incredible time, because one thing actually that I love about you and your friendship is that you are the friend who tells you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
It gets you in trouble a lot.
But because you genuinely care about people so deeply, and this retreat is really built around that whole concept, that you are going to be surrounded by people whom are all on that precipice of moving into the next chapter of their life, living their full potential, and just like unleashing themselves.
Finally.
And we are there to help you guide through that experience together. Stop making excuses.
Stop the self-sabotage.
Stop the self-sabotage.
Stop the self-victimization.
Stop it.
Stop it all. There's going to be somebody there to help with money blocks. I know a lot of us as women, we don't like to talk about the subject of money and taking that in our hands, but it's 2023, guys. We got to get our own bag too, and that's also something that we're going to be pushing. That's also something that we're going to be talking about, and I'm so excited about that, because that was something that was so life-changing for me, and something that I want to share with more people. I feel like it needs to be a lot more talked about, as well as the questions that I have in my hand. When I tell you like the advice that you guys are gonna be getting right now, and just the knowledge, like I hope you guys got your notes. But yeah, the next chapter, if you guys want more information on that, just DM me the word retreat on Instagram and I'll get right back to you. Don't be ashamed, don't be embarrassed. You guys, this is your life. Like, this is your future. Like, these are the things you want to invest in, and these are the things you want to take so seriously. And your first question, Brandi, is what daily habits should I adopt to become a better person overall?
Okay.
I feel like this can be a tricky question to answer, because not everybody's routine has to be the same. We all have the same equipment, but we're built differently. And I think one thing that we both share and that we can both speak on is investing in yourself and taking time for yourself. And stop making the excuse that you don't have time for yourself, because I promise you, you do.
I think that a lot of the times, like habits, we think, what is it again? You have to do something for 66 days before it becomes like a habit.
30 days. I hear 30 days, I hear a week. I've heard it all.
And I think that the thing is what you need is going to change depending on where you are in your life or where you are mentally or physically. And so being so focused on the outcome but flexible on how you get there means that you don't need to do the same thing every single day. I feel like that's something that we've been fed through the media.
Yeah.
That like millionaires wake up at 5 a.m. Like, that's bullshit. I know this. I do not wake up at 5 a.m.
every single day.
No, it's not how I'm built. I really listen to myself. I get to know myself. That's why I meditate. But that's what works for me. So I could tell you my top 5 habits of success or my top 5 habits of how to be the best version of myself. But those habits are not going to be your habits. It's how you are designed and really getting to know yourself. And so my one tip, instead of like the traditional aspect, is like get to know yourself.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I was gonna say you don't need a list of habits, you need to know yourself. Because on the flip side of it, I'm somebody who loves to wake up at 4 a.m.
Yeah. Girl.
Those are the hours throughout the day, just because of the area I am in my life where I'm completely by myself. My husband is asleep, both kids are asleep, and the whole house is to myself, and it's quiet. I have no distractions, and my only job is to get in touch with me.
What are the habits that are best for you? Top 3 habits that you do every day that are the best for you?
I journal, I work out, and by working out, I don't mean I lift or I do crazy exercises. I don't do any of that. I walk here and there, and I'll stretch. Like, stretching for me is super important. And the third thing I do, I'm huge on to-do lists. The night before, every single day, I don't go to sleep without writing the 3 most important tasks of my next day. That way I know what to focus on, and that way I know I'm waking up with intention. What about you?
Oh, I love that. My 3 things are taking time for myself, for self-care.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that self-care looks like putting on makeup.
Okay.
And so every single day I make sure like I'm putting on makeup.
Yeah.
Or maybe that means putting on a face mask, like doing self-care.
Self-care, skincare, hair
Yeah.
care. Yeah.
So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is that I do meditate like every day. So just quiet the thoughts of my head.
Outside world.
Of the outside world, and also be able to have the ability to recognize those thoughts and just let them pass. Because then as stressors come up throughout the day, I can do the same thing.
Yeah.
And just like recognizing, okay, that's stressing me out, but being able to like kind of regulate that emotion through meditation. So that's something else I do, and then walking.
But I completely agree with that. I think the number one thing any person needs to do, but especially women, because I think we're just designed to be nurturers and givers, and we don't necessarily know how to just be nurturing and giving to ourselves. Get to know yourself. Get to know yourself inside and out, and that way your boundaries become clear, your goals become clear, and who you are as a person becomes clear, and then everything else just kind of, I think, flows into place. The second question I have, how do you stay confident?
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
It's a daily practice.
Yeah, and what did Rihanna say again? Like, on the days that you aren't, fake it.
Fake it. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
I think there's this huge misconception that I'm always confident and I'm always feeling my best self. And I will give you guys this, 90% of the time I am a very confident person, but it's because I've done my inner work and I know myself, and I do those daily practices. But there's that 10%, guys. It exists and it is real. And there's moments where I have breakdowns and I go into the shower just to cry. It's a very real thing. That's why I'm telling you it's a daily practice, and it's not just something you wake up with and it's there for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and you know, I've even had some moments in my life, I've been so fortunate to be surrounded by some incredible mentors and some very successful individuals. And when I reach out to them, like text them or call them, and like I have the, like, I don't know what to do, like give me some advice on like this or that, and they'll be like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm doing either, Brandi. And so it started to quickly like set in for me that nobody knows what they're doing. Yeah. And so nobody is ever going into anything 100% confident that this is what I'm gonna do and this is how it's gonna turn out. But the better you know yourself, the more you're able to go into it with the confidence that no matter what happens, I got it. I got myself. And that helps build that confidence to go into any scenario, any situation. It's kind of that switch of perspective that like you're not confident that this is gonna work out. You're not confident that this is going to turn out the way that you need it or want it to. You are confident that no matter what happens, you got it. You know, you got yourself.
Okay, next question. What is the hardest part about being a female entrepreneur? So let me preface this by saying that I don't think you guys know, we didn't really give you a proper introduction. So Brandi is the CEO and the founder of Evio Beauty.
So and you know what, also leaning into like that confidence aspect, I'm just going to like own my accomplishments in this, because I also think that a lot of the times women especially are more like, oh, you know, like this little thing or that little thing, or and also society does that to us as well. They downplay our accomplishments. And so I have been really fortunate to, you know, speak at Forbes 30 Under 30's first ever Global Women's Summit in Tel Aviv, Israel. Been really fortunate to be shadowing Women of the Year list and top 25 most influential women in Canada. I'm super fortunate that like those accomplishments and those awards are of plenty. And in that experience, you know, I've had to go through a lot as a female founder that are definitely different to my male peers.
Yeah.
And I sometimes hate even speaking to that because I don't want to create like a women's club and a man's club.
No.
Like it's so important to me that everything operates together, which is also why like sometimes I don't totally agree with some of the organizations that we're seeing come out create that separation aspect, because there's so much for us to learn from each other. Our experiences are very different.
So one of my favorite quotes, and I hate to interrupt you, but this just came to my mind. One of my favorite quotes is by Sarah Silverman, who she's a comedian. She has spoken out and said, stop telling little girls that you can do it too, just like a boy can, because little girls don't even know that difference yet. They don't know that they can't. So just say, you can do it, and stop there.
That's also like, I do not subscribe to the girl boss mentality.
Yeah.
I understand the sentiment of it when it started, but I am a boss. Period. So I feel like we needed to precursor the question with that.
But I'm so glad we're on the same page on that.
So I started Evio when I was 21 years old, and so that was 10 years ago. And I did have a different experience than male peers for sure. And even now, still sometimes experience that as well. Like I had a call with a bank recently, like in the last like year or so, in opening up a bank account, and they were like,
"Oh, is your husband going to join the call?"
And I was like, pardon me? And also I have also raised money, and I've raised venture capital funds, and this is just facts that only 2% of venture capitalist funding goes to a female founded company. So that means 97% of funding is going to a male founded company in the VC world. And so just by facts, my experience is different.
Yeah.
Men are based on their potential in those experiences, which is why more funding goes to male founders, because they are based on their potential, whereas women are based on their performance. Immediately, there's a huge difference in gap of how one's going to be treated versus the other, how one deal is going to be treated versus the other, how much one person's going to have to prove versus the other. And so it is an uphill battle. But also, I want to precursor, it's hard to raise money whether you're male, female, anything, but there is a difference in how you are going to be treated in that room.
I say this is also your superpower.
I also second that too.
I love the fact that Brandi is somebody that is so special in this industry because she's a female. I think it's a flex, honestly. I think it's a flex. When people ask me how I feel about being successful, being a minority, being a Latina, being a mother, being a woman, I'm like, no, those are not things that I feel like downplay me. I feel like those are things that add so much to my story and make my story so cool and like add to my success. Like I use it as fuel. I honestly, I never have seen it as a bad thing.
And also to second that too, from the entrepreneur like aspect of all of that, is you need to go into every room with that perspective, with that as a flex. Know all the facts, because it's super important to know the numbers and to know facts.
Yeah.
But you're going into that room to change those facts.
Exactly.
Don't lean into something that you don't want to subscribe to.
Exactly. This one, I wrote it down exactly how a lot of people actually worded it, which I thought was so cute. But it's literally, how do I get out of a funk?
Such a great question.
So relatable. And I'm gonna start this one out, coming out guns blazing. Do something different. If you want to get the same results, keep doing the same. If you want to see different results, do different. And it could be so minuscule.
It could literally be, and actually you see this a lot, like if you go through a major breakup or something, you gotta get out of a funk. How many times? I was just about to say, what do you see change immediately after a breakup?
The hair.
The hair.
Yeah.
Change it up a little bit and it changes your energy.
And it's so true.
Yeah.
If you get out of funk, do something different.
Just shift that energy.
Yeah.
And also, when you shift that, you're gonna see people respond to you differently. And then that starts to reinforce that shift.
Yep.
And really all that funk is stagnant energy.
Yes.
And so you just need to get the energy moving and that funk will flow through. And sometimes I totally get it. Easier said than done. But it really is that easy also. Just like change something. And I'll add one other thing to that as well. If you're in a funk, ask people for feedback. That also is easier said than done, because it's not, somebody can give you feedback. That's not what's going to change things.
Yeah.
It's how do you receive people's feedback?
Yeah.
And how do you then adjust accordingly? And sometimes feedback is total crap.
Yeah.
But that then falls back into the first question of knowing yourself.
Yeah.
I said this at the beginning too, like part of what I love about you so much is that you say what people need to hear, not what they want to.
Mm-hmm.
And that honest feedback, when it resonates with somebody and when it's genuine, that can help shift that funk. Because sometimes you just need to hear it from someone else.
Yeah. And learn to be the type of person that can take constructive criticism, because that's where you grow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you'll get out of that funk. Last question. This one, I'm so grateful to the person who sent this. I'm not gonna say any names. I feel like I've been in the same place in my life for the past 3 years and I'm not moving even though I'm moving. What do you recommend I do? I feel like this is kind of similar to the how do you get out of funk, but this is a lot more deeper because I feel like I can personally relate to this. What shifted for me was really investing in myself. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know I was gonna get emotional. But so you already did step 1, and step 1 is recognizing that you're there. But step 2 is I think where the hard work happens. Mm-hmm. And that's where you really have to not only just accept, but take action. Like take it as immediately as you can. Don't wait, and really look into your demons and stare them in the face and say, all right, what do you have for me? Because I'm done being in this place.
I agree with you. It's really like investing in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even like, oh, how much can you invest in yourself? It's that commitment to investing in yourself. Mm-hmm. And it has to be like a genuine commitment that come hell or high water, you are going to find a way.
Exactly.
And when you get to that point, then like really there's nothing stopping you. But the most important thing at that point is to be surrounded by people who are going to continue to nurture it. Mm-hmm. Because you could make a huge shift in your life, but that shift can slide very quickly if you are not in a supporting environment. And for me, environment was everything.
And I also want to just warn you, the second that you decide that you are going to go for it, you're going to better your life, and you're really going to commit yourself to bettering everything's going to go to Mm-hmm. Am I wrong? Everything's gonna go wrong.
But it's actually a blessing when it goes wrong, because the first step to making that shift is decluttering.
Exactly.
You have to declutter the relationships in your life that are not serving the higher self. You have to declutter the thoughts in your brain, the conversations you're having with yourself that are not kind to yourself. You have to declutter all of these things. And so what the universe does in that moment when everything goes to is that it's actually giving you a blessing to identify the things that you need to eliminate.
But just know that it's gonna happen and take it as that. Don't take it as, oh no, this is a sign from the universe that I shouldn't be doing this. No, that's a sign from the universe that you're going actually in the right direction.
Absolutely.
It might be giving you a test, but this is a test that 100% you can handle and that you just need to, again, take head on.
Mm-hmm. Similar to, if you want the same results, continue to do the same thing. Never getting set in your ways is super important to recognize, like, you're never going to be the expert. And sometimes it has to get to a point where it's so painful. Yeah. Like, the pain has to be so deep that you want to change it.
A quote that stood out to me when I was going through this that I find so beautiful and so impactful, and that I want everybody to really listen to this, is the most gorgeous thing about rock bottom is there's nowhere else to go but up. And when I say, and I want to just clear this up, when I say invest in yourself, I don't necessarily mean monetarily, and I don't think Brandi does either. I mean commit. Yes, make the decision. And when you really make a decision, that literally means cut out everything else. Grieve the death of the person you were and get ready for the rebirth of the person you want to become. And if that person has to shed friendships, bye. If that person has to shed a relationship, take it from me. I got out of a marriage. Bye.
Sometimes it's even family members.
I was just about to get into family.
That hurts.
The worst. And sometimes it's the people that you grew up with that know you inside and out, that you're like, really, this person? Yeah, that person. You have to be willing to sacrifice everything for the person you want to become, so you don't stay in the area where you are that you know you're not meant to be in. You have to have a strong enough why. And for everybody it's different. I feel like last time we were in LA, we had a conversation about what our whys are, why we go through this, I don't want to say like storm of being a business owner, but it is a storm. But our why is something that's so strong. It's what keeps us going. Also, when you find your why, for me, my why, like, it's gonna sound so horrible that it's not my kids or anything, but I know my why is me, because I know if I'm not the best version of myself, I'm not gonna be anything to my kids. I'm not gonna be the best mother I can be. I'm not gonna be the best wife I can be. My why is to show up to 80-year-old me and say, I did that for you. And so 5-year-old me can say, she did that for me. And that's my why. And that's what keeps me going. And you don't have to explain your why to anybody. You don't have to say your why out loud. Just know it up here and be able to have a funeral for the person that you were and let her go. And give so much room for that rebirth that you don't think you deserve, but you f***ing deserve. So come to our retreat if you want to hear more.
Yeah, and
I'll cry.
Yeah, it honestly leaves it on such a perfect note because, like, again, like if you are committed to change that story and narrative to yourself, come to the next chapter retreat.
Yeah, and start that next chapter of your life. And with that, we're gonna end this video because this was a really good lash day for me, and I don't want to cry, but I want to thank Brandi so much for being here. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, for joining us. Even if this video is all you take away, I'm happy. These are words that I wish I would have heard when I was in my dark place, and these are still words I need to hear. Like, I feel like this is a video I'm gonna come back and watch when I'm in my slums.
Totally. I feel like I'm always the one who cries. And like, yeah, I feel like I just like haven't even scratched the surface of like the experiences. And like you and I have, the more we get to know each other, the more we realize like how much we have in common.
Oh, yeah.
And the interesting thing about that is the more we realize like what got us out of it is the same.
We're not all this perfect image that is made out to be, but we choose to keep going. I'm so excited, and thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in my next video.